Hi everyone, welcome back to XCA. This is the third part of the Building AI Expense Tracker SwiftUI app series. In this video, we're going to add AIReceiptScanner to expense log capability to our application. With this, users can simply use receipt image taken by either their camera or file picker or photo library to generate their expenses logs. We will use AIReceiptScanner SPM LIb to scan the receipt, which uses GPT-4o vision under the hood to analyze the receipt image and determine the date, currency, item's price and name, as well as the category. Let me show you the demo of the feature that we will be adding in this video. So here I have the app running on the Vision OS simulator as well as the iPhone here. I'm using QuickTime Mirroring. And as you know, the app runs on multi-platform from iOS, iPadOS, macOS, and Vision OS. Okay, so here as you can see in the Vision OS, I have this receipt scanner tab in here open. So this is the receipt image and the result here. So here, as you can see, we have this picker where we can tap and select the image, whether from the file or photo library on the Vision OS. So let me select photo library. I want to show you another image in here, this one. Okay, there are two items, as Americano and as Cappuccino. The currency is, I think, this is Korea, won. Okay, as you can see, this is the result of the scanned items in here. One as Americano 2000 and one as Cappuccino. And this is the date. Okay, as you can see in here, 2016, 8 Augustus. Payment method credit card. Okay, so basically to add this item, we can click this add to expense, and here we can edit the items before we add it to the Firestore database. Here we can change the date, so I'm going to just change this to today date, July 2024. Okay, at July. And now let me try to change the currency as well. Here we can change the currency. Let me just change this to USD in here. And we can also change the name if we want. Maybe we want to change this to Hot Americano. The amount as well, maybe change it to $3, and the iced Americano probably to $4. Okay, as cappuccino. And then here we can change the category as well. So I'm going to select food for the category in here for both of them. Okay, now I can simply tap this confirm to add this to the Firestore database, and it should be added in real time in this my iPhone. Okay, it should be seen in real time. Now confirm. Nice. As you can see, we got the iced cappuccino and hot Americano. Amazing, right? Wow. And let me show you the demo. Here it's also got reflected as a cappuccino and hot Americano. Okay. Now let me demo using the iPhone. Okay, so let me tap on the receipt scanner in here. And here I can select the image. So here, let me demo using the camera. Okay. So let me tap camera here and let me take a picture of this receipt from the grocery store where I buy some fruit. Okay, it's going to analyze. And we got the result in here. We have 3 items. Okay, 20,000, 15,000, 15,000. Nice. And let me dismiss this and then let me add to expense. Here we also have the confirmation view where we can edit. So let me change the date to 2024, July. Okay. Let me just select 8 July. Okay, and it's able to detect the category food for all the items. And let me just add this. Okay, confirm. Nice, as you can see, it is synced to the Vision OS in real time as well. We have the fruits there, semangka, papaya, and mixed fruits. So semangka and papaya are the name of fruit in Indonesia. Okay, and here as well on iPhone, we have that semangka cup, papaya cup, and mixed fruits cup. And there you go. That's the feature of the AI recipe scanner that we will be building. So you will also provide the user the capability to customize the items before it added to the database. Okay, because for sure the AI recipe scanner itself won't be perfect, right? Because some receipt can be very complex, the image can be a bit blurry, so there can be also a mistake made by the AI when analyzing the receipt items. Okay. But now with this, it is now very easy for the users to add the expense in batch using their shopping receipt. And that is very, very amazing. And before we begin to code, if you have followed me to code along from the first and the second part of this series, you can just continue using the project. If you haven't, you can download the starter project from the link that I have provided at the description. You will also need OpenAI API key with the access to GPT-4o. Okay, because this GPT-4o is multimodal and we require this multimodal LLM with vision capability to scan the receipt image. Okay, so please get it from the OpenAI as well. And now let's begin and start the code. Let me close all of this window first. Okay, so this is the repository where you can download the starter project. So make sure you select this starter part 3 from the tags. Okay, and then you can simply download the zip file. Okay, and you can simply open the Xcode Approach from your local machine. Okay, make sure you provide your own Google Service Info playlist from your project, from your Firebase project, so you can access your Firestone database. Okay, and you also need to provide your own signing bundle identifier as well. Okay, so that's for the starter project. Here already open this in my Xcode here. And let's just begin by clicking on this AI expense tracker and click this AI expense tracker project. Select package dependencies, and basically we need to add a new SPM package. So this is the SPM lib that we will be adding, the AI recipe scanner for Swift. Okay, so this is the SPM lib that I have created, where the users can basically just provide a receipt image as an input, and then the library will make prompt to the GPT-4o Vision using predefined system text input for the LLM to analyze the image. And it will provide the results in a predefined JSON schema, such as the merchant name, currency, transaction date, the items, the title, the quantity, and also the price. Okay, it will be then decoded as the Swift model that the users can use. So here I have provided the README as well in here, containing how to use this as well. Okay, and it also provide the additional UI components here that we can just integrate end-to-end into our application seamlessly without much effort. Okay, you can read the details for all the API that are provided in the description below. For us, we will just use this receipt scanner view. It contains all the end-to-end flow that we can use to integrate the receipt scanner into our app. Okay, so just copy the URL. I have provided a link to this SPM lib at the description below as well. And then just paste this. Okay, and the last version is 1.0.3. Okay, and then just add the package. Okay, it decided to library, downloaded all the dependencies, and then make sure this add to target a expense tracker is selected, and then add the package. Okay, we have added this as a dependency to our application. Now we need to add several permissions to our app in the info playlist. So select the target, click this info, and then click this plus button, and then for the new key, first we need to add the privacy. camera usage description. Remember on iPhone, we can tag the receipt image using the camera. And then in here for the value, just give it a text of tag receipt picture. Okay. And the next one is another key to access the photo library, which is the privacy photo library usage description. Okay. Just provide the value of get receipt picture. Okay, there you go. We have all the privacy that we will be requiring, camera and photo library. Okay, for the file, we'll just use the built-in SwiftUI file picker. I don't think that requires additional permission in the info playlist. Okay, so let's begin by here at the root folder. Create a new folder and give it a name of receipt scanner. Okay, and then inside, let's create a new SwiftUI view. Okay, give it a name of expense receipt scanner view. For now, let's just comment out the preview because in the latest Xcode beta, the preview will crash when I integrate Firebase into the project. And now let's go to the content view. And in here, let's create another navigation link for the split view. So this will be used on the, I think, iPad OS as well as the Mac OS. Okay, so let's change this to the expense receipt scanner view. And let's change the label text to receipt scanner and the system image to just I. Okay, and for the tab view, let's add a new navigation tab item. Here, give it a name of expense receipt scanner view. The tag number should be 2 and the label will be receipt scanner. System image will be just I from the SF symbol. Okay, so we've added that, so we can navigate to the expense receipt scanner view now. Forget to initialize. Okay, now let's go to this expense receipt scanner view to integrate the AIReceiptScanner. Okay, so here let's begin by import the AIReceiptScanner SPM LIb, and let's declare several state. So the first state will be this scan status. So this is the model that will be exposed by the AIReceiptScanner to determine the scan status of the receipt. Okay, it can be from the idle, prompting, also picking image, as well as the success with the result. Okay, so we will pass this as a binding to the AIReceiptScanner view, and we will basically use this to determine whether we should show that add to expense button at the navigation bar. Okay, so only when this is success with the result we will show that. Okay, let's just begin. And the second state is this add receipt to expand sheet item. Okay, this value will be success scan result optional. So if you see here in the implementation, it has these several cases. Okay, when the case is success, it will provide the assist value of success scan result where it contains the receipt image as well the result of the scan image from the gpt-4o. Okay, so we will use this to determine we will use this to pass the value to the add to expense confirmation view sheet. Okay, and I forgot we also need to have this environment to check the horizontal size classes to determine the size of the sheet that will be present. Okay, we already have all the properties. Let's begin by implementing the body now. So basically, to use the AIReceiptScanner, we simply use this receipt picker scanner view. Okay, and then in here we need to pass the API key, and then we need to also pass the binding of the scan status. that we already declared there as a state. And then we're going to add a sheet modifier in here. So only if we pass this binding, the binding is not nil, it should be at receipt expense sheet item. Okay, so this should be the item in. For now, let's just put a placeholder text to do confirmation view. Okay, and the next one we're going to basically declare the navigation title in here. I'm going to give it a name of AI receipt scanner. You can give it any name that you want for the title. And then if the OS is not Mac OS, I'm going to set the navigation display mode, navigation bar title display mode to inline. This is for the iOS. Okay, and Vision OS. And then I'm going to add a toolbar in here, modifier. And then I'm going to add a toolbar item with the placement of primary action. And basically inside this, we can just get the scan result from the scan status state. Okay, so this is actually just a helper. So if this success, it will get the associated value and then return the result, which is the scan status. So if this scan result is there, it means this success. We can simply declare a button in here, okay, with the action label. For the action, we can simply set this AddReceiptToExpense sheet item with the scan result, so it will present the confirmation sheet for the user to edit before confirming it and adding it to the Firestore database. And then for the label for this, if the OS is Mac OS, I'm going to make some modification to the appearance. But for the other platform, I'm just going to use the text add to expenses. For the Mac OS, I'm just going to declare h tag and then an image, the system name of plus, symbol rendering mode of monochrome, and then I'm going to set the theme to accent color. Okay, and then I'm going to declare text add to expenses. Okay, looks good. Now we should be able to test this, I think. Let me just run this using a simulator for now. Now let me bring the simulator here. Okay, we get the items listed in here. Now we have the receipt scanner. Just tap in here, and here we can select image. So we don't have a camera in simulator, so we have photo library. So to add an image, you can simply drag and drop the image to your simulator. It will be added to the photo library. Okay, so just select the image and then let's just use photo library in here. Let me just use this one. Okay, it's going to analyze the image. Okay, so basically on iOS device with the compact horizontal size class, it will present this resizable sheet, okay, that we can dismiss in here, and we can trigger back using that button. So this is the item, the ice americano, ice cappuccino, the amount, the price as well, and the total. Okay, looks nice and it works correctly, I think. Yeah, there is no issue. So this works, and we have this add to expense button because the scan status of the receipt is success. Okay, so right now it doesn't show anything, so we need to implement the confirmation view next. Okay, so let's begin. Okay, now in the receipt scanner folder, let's create a new SwiftUI view and give it a name of AddReceiptToExpense confirmation view. For now, let's just comment the preview. So basically this view is the view where we will allow the users to edit the expense log items from the receipt scanner receipt before it added to the database. Okay, and the next one, let's create another Swift file here for the view model. Okay, and let's implement the view model first, I think. So there are several things that we need to import in here. First one is the AI receipt scanner, and then let's also import the observation framework and make this observable, and declare the class in here. There you go, you got the class. Now let's declare the properties. First one is the database to save to Firestore. Let's just access the singleton instance. And the next one is the scan result. Okay, this will be passed when we show the view to this view model. And basically let's also store the scan results expense logs, because we are going to compute the expense log, convert the items to the expense log, so we want to store it to avoid recomputation. And the next one is the date. So this the user can change, so it will be passed as a binding. Let's not make it optional. And the currency code as well should be string, and the expense logs, basically we will be showing this in a list where the user can edit each of the item name, also the amount and the category. Okay, and also let's create a computed property is edited to help where to display a button reset, where we will basically just reset all the change that the user has made to the original scan receipt state. Okay, so this should be scan result dot receipt dot date equal with the date that will be passed as a binding, and also the expense logs that will be shown in the list with the scan result expense log. Okay, let's put this in a parenthesis and then add the negation. Okay, so if this is not true, it means it's edited. Okay, now before we continue, I forgot we also need to add an extension for the receipt plus expense logs. We want to convert the receipt expense items to the expense logs instance that we have in our domain. Okay, so let's do it in here. Let's import the AI receipt scanner. So the receipt scanner will have the receipt in the scan result for the success state. In here, let's create a computed property expense logs. Expense should be an array of expense log. So if you see in the receipt here, it will have this items, line item containing the purchased items. So we will convert this to the expense logs, map it. So let's just use access it using the items. If this is empty, because it's optional, then provide a empty array as a default value and then call map. And in here we simply initialize the item expense log here. For the ID, let's just parse the UUID, the ID.UUID string from the line item. And for the name, we're going to add some logic in here. So the line item has the quantity. So if the quantity is greater than 1, we're just going to show the quantity in here. Okay, and then add this and else we just provide the empty string. Okay, and then we display the name in here. And for the category, we can simply use the category. For the amount, we can simply use the price from the line item. And for the currency, the receipt itself have the field of currency, you can pass that. and it also have the field of date. If it is empty, we just pass the current date. So this should be correct. Wait, a mistake. Let me just copy and paste for a complete code. Okay, this should be correct now. And for the currency, I think let's just provide a default value of USD because it's also optional from the receipt field. Okay, everything should work now. Nice. Now we should be able to convert this. So let's now create the initializer. So here we just need the scan result as the parameter. And then let's assign the scan result with the scan result. And then set the scan result expense log with the scan result dot receipt dot expense logs, and set the expense log that will be shown with this, and then set the date for the binding to the scan result receipt dot date for the initial date that will be shown, and the currency code should also we can get from the scan result dot receipt dot currency. And if it is nil, let's just use USD as a default value. And then we also need a number formatter actually to format the amount text field later. So let's just declare it in here. Number formatter. So let's initialize it in a closure in here. Add formatter, number formatter, and then formatter is lenient true, and formatter dot number style is currency, and formatter dot currency code, let's just assign it USD as a default value and return the formatter. Okay, and in the initializer now we can simply set the currency code self.number formatter.currency code as the self.currency code. Okay, now we have all of this. Let's try to build first. Okay, the build succeeded. And one thing that we need to also add in the currency code, we will add a will set in here. So every time the user changes the currency code from the picker, we will set the number formatter currency code with a new value. Okay, so there you go. Now let's implement the save method. This we will invoke when the user tap on the confirmation button in the navigation bar button. In here we can simply loop the expense log that will be shown in the UI. And here let's assign a temporary variable so we can modify the date to use the date from this view model, and also the currency with the currency code from this view model. And we can simply invoke the db.add in here and pass the log. Okay, this is for the save. It will insert to the Firestore database. And now let's create a reset changes in here. Reset change. So this will be triggered when the user tap the reset change button, where we will basically reset all the changes. So to do that, we can simply assign the expense log with the scan result expense log property, and the date with the date from the receipt again. Scan result receipt the date, and the currency code with the scan result receipt currency, and the default value will be USD. Okay. So there's one thing that we can actually add in the SF, but I will just let the implementation added by you, maybe for the challenge. So in here we can add the validation, where maybe we can check if the name is empty. We will basically throw an error and show the error in the UI. But to just save time and provide a challenge for you, you can implement that by yourself. Okay, so this is it for the view model. And now let's begin to implement the view. So let's begin by declaring our the vars. First one is the environment. Again, it's going to be the horizontal size class. give it a name of horizontal size class. And the second one is the environment presentation mode that we can use to dismiss. Presentation mode, this sheet, right? And then state for the VM at receipt scanner confirmation, at receipt to expense confirmation view model. This will be initialized by the outside, the one that initialized this, okay, because it will need to pass the scan result receipt. Okay, now let's begin by adding some of the var for the text field. Okay, we'll encapsulate this, abstract this out so it can be reused in the regular view and compact view, because we will make a separate var for each of them. Okay, so to avoid the repetition, let's just abstract this out. First one is the name text field. Is accept a log, which is a binding of expense log. Okay, and it's going to return an opaque view, some view. In here we can simply declare the text field, and we can simply pass the text of log.name as the binding. And for the label, we can simply initialize this text name. Okay, there we go, we got this, and set the line limit for this to 2, and let's also set the text field style to rounded border text field style. Okay, this is for the name text field. Now let's create the second one for the amount text field. It's also accept a line binding of expense log and return an opaque view. Declare text field in here, and the label should be this amount, and then we have this value. Let's pass a binding of log.amount, and then for matter, which is used to format this, we can pass this from the view model itself. Okay, so it makes sure it is using the currency. It only accepts the number instead of alphabetical letter. And then set the text field style to rounded border text field style as well. And here we can check if the OS is not macOS. This API is not available on macOS, I don't know why, but here we're going to add a keyboard type. It's going to be numbers and punctuation. Okay, so it won't show letter in the iOS or visionOS. Okay, looks good now. And the third one is the category picker selection. Here we also pass a log of binding expense log that returns some view. Here we can just initialize the picker, passing the binding of log.category, and the label, we're going to show a text category. Okay, and then the view provider, we just provide the for each passing category that all cases already conforms to the cassette label. And then in here, category in, we can simply initialize the text passing category dot raw value dot capitalized, and then let's pass the tag as category dot raw value for the binding. Okay, looks good. We already have all of these components that we can use for the regular and the compact view. There's one thing that I want to also add, which is on delete, that will be triggered when the user swipe on the list item. Okay, so in here we're going to create an on delete, and then there will be one parameter which is the index set. So in here we can simply invoke the expense log and then remove add offsets passing the index set. Okay, we have the on delete. Now let's continue by declaring the regular view that will be shown in the horizontal size class regular on macOS or visionOS, iPadOS. Okay, regular view in here, some view. So in here we can just use this for each and pass the binding of this vm.expense logs. Okay, it will give us the binding of the expense log item, and then here we can attach the onDelete and pass the method of onDelete from this view. So in here I'm going to declare an h tag with the spacing of 16, and inside this fish tag for each of the field I'm going to declare a h tag. First one is the name, and then I'm going to pass the name text field and the log, binding of the expense log. And the second one, let me just copy and change this to amount. And for the text field, let me just change this to amount text field. And for the final field, we're going to also add an H tag, and then we're going to use the category picker, passing the log again, and we are going to display the icon using this category image view that we have built in the previous video, passing log. We also remember this is a binding, so we need to access the underlying value using the wrap value and pass the category enum. Okay, there you go for the regular view. Now let's move on to the compact view. For the iPhone, compact view, some view as well in here. So again, for each, passing binding of vm.expense logs, and in here let's attach the onDelete perform, just pass the onDelete method. And then for here in this each item we'll put it in the fish tag because of the limited horizontal size room. Okay, so we'll put it in a fish tag. So let's set the alignment as leading and the spacing to 16, and inside here let's declare an h tag for the name. Okay, and let me set the frame max width to 72 and the alignment to leading. Okay, and let's add the spacer and declare the name text field passing the expense log binding. Okay, let me copy, paste, then change this to amount, and then this one also change the text field to amount text field, and the third one will be the category. Let's declare an h tag, declare text category, and then declare a spacer in here and category picker. Let's pass log.wrap value.category enum, and sorry, this should be just the log. And for the category image view, this will be the log wrap value.category enum. There you go. We have the required views. Now we can just go to the body to declare this. So inside the body, we will put this confirmation view in the navigation stack and declare a fish tag of alignment and leading. Okay, and then after that, I'm just going to declare a list in here. So inside the list, let's declare an first row. It should be the h tag containing the date picker for the date. Let's pass the binding of the date, and let's, for the spec components, let's just set the date. Okay, if you want to modify the hour and minute, you can, but for now I'm just going to pass the date. Okay, so there you go, we have this. And for the label, let's just use this text date, and then let's add a spacer and declare an h tag again. For the currency code picker selection, vm.currency code for the binding or selection, and for the label, let's just declare a text currency, and then the view provider we're just going to use for each. We're going to access all the currency codes using this locally common ISO currency codes, and for the ID, let's just pass .self because this is a string. And here ISO in, we can simply just show a text containing the ISO code, and for the binding we can also pass the ISO itself. There you go, looks good. Now below this h tag, let's declare a switch to the horizontal size class. Okay, so in case of regular, we just return the regular view, and for the default, let's just use compact view. Okay, and I also want to make this list style to just use a plain style. Okay, and then after that, here the fish tag modifier, let's add this navigation title confirmation. Okay, for the title, and inside this navigation, let's add a toolbar. Okay, and first one is a toolbar item placement, should be confirmation action. And for the content, let's have a button confirm. Here we can simply invoke vm.save and then dismiss the confirmation sheet using confirmation mode.value.dismiss. And the second button, which is the cancel, just copy and paste, change this to cancellation action, change this to cancel, and set the role to cancel. And in here we can just dismiss. And the third one will be the structure of action, should be reset changes, and let's set a role of destructive to reset the expense log modified. So let's change to reset change, and let's add a color to this button with this tint passing red, and let's disable this when the VM is not in edited. Okay, so it won't be shown unless the user edit the value in one of the item or the date or the currency code. Okay, everything looks good. Let's go back to the expense receipt scanner view to add this. So here the sheet, just replace this text placeholder with the add receipt to expense confirmation view. In here, let's pass the VM by initializing it, passing the scan result we can get from this item. Okay, let's change the name to, I think we don't need this, let's just pass this using this shorthand. Okay, looks good now. And here we need to add frame min width based on the horizontal size class. Okay, so if the horizontal size class is regular, we're going to pass a value of 960. Okay, otherwise nil. And for the min height, if the horizontal size class is regular, we're going to pass off a value of 512. Okay, otherwise it's going to be nil for compact. Okay, looks good. I think this is all for the implementation. Okay, so I'm going to test this using Mac OS. So I'm going to select my Mac and then run this. Okay, there you go. The app is built successfully. Now let me show this. You can simply go to this receipt scanner and then select the image. I'm going to select from file. Okay, I'm going to select from my desktop. There should be this receipt PNG. We just use this. It's going to analyze. Okay, So the left one is in Hangul, I think, Korean. Okay. So it's able to detect one iced Americano and one iced cappuccino. Nice. Show the result in here. Let me just add to expense. Okay, we have the date in here that we can change. Let's just change to this 2024. Yeah, let's just add it to August. Okay, currency, let me change this to USD. Okay, and the amount $2. Okay, the formatter works, and $3. Okay, let me just change this to like vanilla latte and green tea latte. Okay, so let me just add this. It should be added here in the expense list because we set the date in the future. Confirm. There you go, green tea latte and vanilla latte. Okay, so we scan this receipt, make some modification and add it, and it's getting synced in real time. Okay, so that's it. This is the feature that we have built in this video tutorial, the AIReceiptScanner, with the ability to customize the item before we add it to the expense list. So congratulations if you have completed this video, and this is very amazing. We are able to utilize the GPT-4o Vision AI to basically perform the task to scan the receipt for us. It is very amazing. It makes life easier for us to track our expenses in daily life, right? So we just go to grocery and then just scan the receipt, or go to the restaurant, scan the receipt, and we can make some modification before adding it to the database as well. Okay, so very good for the personal finance management. Okay, and that's it for this video. Like the video if you like, subscribe if you haven't, and thanks for supporting me so far. And until the next one, let's keep being on lifelong learner, and goodbye.